I never thought I'd live somewhere that tried to control my actual freedom of movement, but my HOA proved me wrong. For context, I live in a gated subdivision. It's a nice place on paper, quiet streets, decent houses, a pool, a tennis court. But the HOA board? Power-hungry tyrants. The president, a woman everyone calls Karen, of course, is the worst of them all. At first, it was the usual nonsense, warnings about grass length, fines for leaving my trash can out, reminders that my car wasn't parked exactly within the lines. Annoying, but manageable. Then one day, they dropped a bombshell in the form of a community-wide curfew. Yes, you read that right. An HOA curfew. The letter said, "For the safety and tranquility of our neighborhood, all residents are prohibited from being outside their homes between 8 p.m. and 6 a.m. Violators will be subject to HOA enforcement measures, fines, and potential legal action." I thought it was a bad joke. What kind of HOA thinks they can impose a curfew? Last I checked, this wasn't a prison camp. So I ignored it. The first night after the so-called curfew, around 9 p.m., I went outside to take my dog for a walk. She's a German Shepherd full of energy, and there's no way I'm keeping her cooped up just because Karen thinks she's queen of the block. We'd barely made it down the sidewalk when I saw flashlights. 3 members of the HOA enforcement committee, basically Karen's husband and 2 of her friends, came stomping toward me in neon vests like wannabe mall cops. One shouted, "You're in violation of curfew. Go back inside immediately or face consequences." I laughed. This is America. I can walk my dog whenever I want. Get out of my way. That's when things turned ugly. One of them tried to grab my arm. Another lunged at my dog's leash. My shepherd growled, teeth bared, and that was enough to make him back off. But then the third guy actually shoved me. Wrong move. I shoved him right back, harder. He stumbled into the grass, cursing. The first one came at me again, but I raised my voice so loud half the block could hear. "Touch me again and I'll call the cops for assault." That stopped them for a second, but only a second. Karen herself came storming out of her house in her bathrobe, screeching, "He's a danger to the community. Restrain him." At that point, I'd had enough. I pulled out my phone and dialed 911. While I was on the call, one of them tried to knock the phone out of my hand. Big mistake. My dog lunged between us, barking like crazy, and he jumped back so fast he nearly tripped over the curb. Within minutes, 2 squad cars rolled up. You clowns immediately tried to play victim. He attacked us. He broke curfew. The officers just stared at them and said, "Curfew? What curfew?" I showed them the HOA letter. The cops read it, looked at each other, and actually laughed. One said, "An HOA can't set a curfew. This isn't enforceable. But assault is." So I gave my statement. I showed the scratches on my arm where one of them grabbed me. A neighbor who'd seen the whole thing came forward and backed me up. My dog wagged her tail proudly like she knew she'd helped. End result? The 3 enforcers were cited for harassment and assault. Karen got a formal warning from the police about impersonating law enforcement. And when word spread that the HOA had literally attacked a neighbor for walking his dog, the rest of the community turned on them. At the next board election, Karen and her cronies were voted out in a landslide. Now, I take my dog on extra long walks after dark just because I can. Sometimes I even wave at Karen's old house when I pass, knowing she can't do a thing about it anymore. Freedom tastes even better when it comes with the sound of an HOA tyrant getting shut down.